Hi everyone, welcome to our class in GE 116 Art Appreciation. So in this video, I will be discussing the introduction and assumptions regarding our main concept, which is art. So before we proceed with the definition of art, we first tackle or try to define the subject or the general concept where art is under. So we have here humanities. Now, humanities came from the Latin word humanus, meaning refined, cultured, and human. So if we say humanities, this subject means to say that it relates to being human. Now, humanities is also the study of different cultural aspects of man, his frailties in life, and how it can be improved. Frailties meaning man's weaknesses, and through humanities, there are various ways wherein these certain weaknesses can be improved. Humanities also records man's quest for answers to the fundamental questions he asks about himself and about life. Continuation. Humanities are expressions of man's feelings and thoughts. So, through humanities, we can express our feelings and thoughts in a variety of ways. Humanities emphasizes dignity and worthiness of man and recognizes creative expressions. It is also aimed to shape students' subjective energies, feelings, attitudes, and aspirations. Now we proceed with the main topic, which is art. Now, what does art mean, or what's the etymology, meaning what's the origin, or where does the word art come from? So, art comes from the Aryan root word ar, which means to put together. It also comes from the Latin word ars, which means skill or ability, because it's very evident that in art you should have a certain talent which is natural, or you have a skill that you have developed over time through practice. Art covers those areas of artistic creativity, embraces the visual arts, literature, music, and dance. So it means to say that art is not or does not only deal with what we can see, but there are also other forms of art. Art expresses aesthetic ideas by use of skill and imagination. So here we have the divisions of arts. So there are different types or forms of the arts. We start with the visual. So visual, these are the arts that are primarily seen, and it occupies space. So this is related to our sense of sight, something that we can see. So examples of visual arts are paintings, sculptures, and architecture. So these are artistic creations that are visible or that can be seen by our human eye. Next, we have auditory. So art that can be heard, timed arts, it exists in time. So this can be in relation to our sense of hearing, something that we can hear. Examples of auditory arts are music and poetry. So these are art forms that we can hear and are pleasing to our ears. Next, we have combined or performing art. So it combines visual and auditory elements. So examples of combined art are drama and theater, dancing, cinema and TV, and opera. So in combined art, the visual aspect and the auditory aspect are put together. Next, we have the purposes of art. So, why do we create different art forms? What are its purposes? Number one, the very first reason primarily is to create beauty, because art um, is beauty. Anything produced in terms of art can be said to be beautiful. It provides decoration in a sense that it serves as an ornament, or it gives beauty, it adds beauty to like a certain, for example, in a certain wall. If you put a painting, it makes or it is like a decorative ornament to that certain wall. Number three, art reveals or reveal the truth, because some artists, for them, they express their feelings, their truth in their art forms. Number four, another reason is art can immortalize. Immortalize in a sense that it makes an art form famous, and through that art, that certain art form will never be forgotten, or it will always be remembered. For example, the Mona Lisa. So even if that certain painting was created many years ago, up until now, it's still well known. A lot of people know about it. It's still famous. And yeah, again, um, through that painting, the subject, Mona Lisa, seems to be immortalized through that certain artwork. Number five, or the fifth reason, is it expresses religious values. Now, in churches, in Roman Catholicism, there are certain art forms that express our religious beliefs. Like, for example, there are paintings of angels, of saints, and other religious beliefs that are in relation to a certain church. Number six, it record and commemorate experience. So there are some artists who expresses their experiences through art forms. For example, they draw whatever their experience, may it be good or a sad experience. Other artists also expresses their, or put their experiences in terms of songs, so that for them it will always be remembered through that certain song. Number seven, art create order and harmony. For example, in dance is a form of art, and in dancing there are certain steps to be followed. So it needs to be orderly, so that it will be nice to look at whenever it will be performed. Next, we have basic assumptions of the art. First one is, art is created by all people, in all places, at all times. It lives because it is liked and enjoyed. So there are people who would say that they have no talent, which I do not believe, because in everything that we do, or in everything that we say, it's actually an art. Just by merely talking, the way we talk, our voice, that's already an art. Next, this is a quote from Yusef Latif. So he said, "Whatever I do today is the whole continuum of my experience." Like John Dewey said in his book Art as Experience, you can't separate experience from the work of art. So if I write for the symphony today, you're listening to everything that happened to me since I was 18 years old. So based on this quote, we can say that art involves experience. There can never be appreciation of art without experience. So let's say, for example, we can apply this certain belief or assumption in art. So, for example, if you have tasted like a certain food, and at that certain time you appreciated or you like that food, and the next time you will taste that food, so you will have or gain a sense of appreciation since you had a good experience, since the cook or the chef artistically created the food for the customers. So next is art is not nature. Nature is not art. So those two concepts vary or are different from each other. So art and nature. Art is not nature. Take note. Art is made by human beings. Artists frequently find their inspirations and subject matter in nature, and artists do use nature as a medium, but art itself is not nature. Art is made by human beings, and no matter how close it is to nature, it always shows that it was made by human beings. The function of the artist is to help us understand the nature of things, to realize the possibilities in the world, to develop insights or enlarge imagination by creating or revealing new subjects. So again, art is not nature, nature is art. Art can be close, like the certain art form may look like nature, but it can never be nature, because nature is created by our creator, while art is created by human beings. So art appreciation as a way of life. So art as a product of imagination, imagination as a product of art. So this assumption can go vice versa, because art can be produced through our imagination, what we think in our minds, we can produce art. On the same time, imagination can be a product of art, because if we look at a certain painting or at a certain artwork, our imagination will give us something to think of, right? And lastly, art as an expression, because art is a way for people to express themselves. Like there are certain artists who create art forms, paintings, sculptures because of what they feel. People compose songs, or artists compose songs because of what they feel, what they experience. So there are countless ways of expressing oneself through art. So the following list includes, but is not limited to, popular art expressions. The first one is what we call as the visual arts. So it is the kind of art form that the population is most likely exposed to. So this is the kind of art form that we are most familiar with. But its variations are so diverse, they range from sculptures that you see in art galleries to the last movie you saw. Some mediums of visual arts include paintings, drawings, lettering, printing, sculptures, digital imaging, and more. So again, art that we can see, that we can visualize. So those are visual art. So painting, sculptures, printing, digital imaging, drawings, and a lot more. Next, we have film. So film refers to the art of putting together successions of still images in order to create an illusion of movement. Filmmaking focuses on its aesthetic, cultural, and social value, and is considered as both an art and an industry. So film is a type of art wherein the visual and the I'm sorry the visual and the auditory components are being put together, since we see videos, images, and we also hear sounds based on what the artists or certain sound effects that the director or the producers put into that certain film. Um, in terms of films, it has a lot of focus. It can be aesthetic, meaning beauty. It can be cultural. It can have concepts or themes that are nationalistic or concerns a certain country. It has also social values, beliefs, and art. Film can be considered both an art and an industry because people, especially actors, make money and make films as a way of living. Next is we have performance art. Performance art is a live art, and the artist's medium is mainly the human body, which he or she uses to perform, but also employs other kind of art such as visual art, props, or sound. So performance meaning the actors perform. I'm sorry again. Meaning the actors perform live. Oh, I'm sorry. Where is that? Yeah. The artists perform live on stage. They memorize scripts. They know what to say, what to do, how to act, and they have also certain props for their costumes, for their makeup, and it has also certain sound effects that they use and employ during the performance. Next is poetry performance. So poetry is an art form where the artist expresses his emotions not by using paint, charcoal, or camera, but expresses them through words. So poetry is also an art form because it is an expression, a way of expressing one's feelings through words. And certain poems or poems after being created by the poet, so we can read that one, and certain design can be laid in terms of how it will be printed or produced. Next is architecture. Architecture is the art of designing and constructing buildings and other types of structures. It is often referred to as the mother of the arts because it houses, serves as background for, or occurs in relation to other fields of art. So, architecture can be said to be the mother of arts because it encompasses different aspects and it can be connected to different fields and industries. So materials used include stone, concrete, brick, wood, steel, glass, and plastic. So this is an example of an architecture. The Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles, California, USA. Next is dance. So dance is a series of movements that follow the rhythm of the music accompaniment. So dance is also a form of art, a form of expression. Next is we have literary art. So literary art goes beyond the usual professional, academic, journalistic, and other technical form of writing. It focuses on writing using a unique style, not following specific form or norm. It may include both fiction and non-fiction such as novels, biographies, and poems. So literary art or literatures can be found in books. And in the modern time, we also have, instead of hard copies of books, we also have e-books or electronic books, which I think you guys are familiar with. Next is we have theater. Theater uses live performers to present accounts or imaginary events before a live audience. Theater art performance usually follows a script, though they should not be confused with literary arts. Okay. Lastly, we have applied arts. So applied arts incorporate elements of style and design to everyday items with the aim of increasing their aesthetical value. Artists in this field bring beauty, charm, and comfort into many things that are useful in everyday life. So applied arts, these are artistic creations applied to things, or for example the certain furniture, certain chair, um, it was created to make it look more beautiful and more pleasing to the eyes. Also, it could increase the sales of the creator or the furniture makers. So yeah, that's it for our topic on the introduction, what art means, different art forms. If you have questions, clarifications, feel free to comment on the comment section below. And also, for your attendance, simply comment your name, your block number, and your course, and yeah, your name, your course, year, and the block number. Thank you so much, you guys. You take care. Bye bye for now.